Hello, I'm Raymond, a member of the Access College community at City Blessing. I also attend the Colton campus with my family, and today I'd like to share my journey to saying yes to attending Bible school. As I was approaching the end of my high school career, my plan with my family's support was to join the military. After considering my options, I decided to enlist in the Air Force. However, wanting to go and actually going are two different things. There are things to take, medical clearances to obtain, and much more. Despite these hurdles, I went through the entire process because I believed it was where I was meant to be at the time. During the summer of 2023, a friend of mine introduced the idea of me going to Bible school. At the time, I kind of just laughed it off since I was going through the process of enlisting, but in reality, it felt like I was hitting a dead end. The process took longer than expected and there were several delays. So in January this year, I remembered a time where I experienced God's presence, and this was during Sela Youth Conference, right before I started my senior year in 2022. I just remember the guest speaker speaking and asking those who were called to ministry to come up on the stage. And I had never even considered it, never thought about it, but the best way I can describe it is it felt like God just put a hand on my shoulder and pushed me forward, urging me to take that step and say yes. And so I did. In the following months, there was so much agreement and alignment from God that I could not deny the fact that I should be considering going to Bible school. I was reminded of Galatians 1:10, in which Paul presents the question of whom we are seeking approval from God or from man. And that verse firmly expresses that if I were to seek to please man, I would be failing in my duty as a bondservant of Christ. Was it out of my own personal desire or because I wanted to please God? And as I was asking God to help me search my heart, I read John 15:5, which says, I am the vine, you are the branches. He who abides in me and I in him bears much fruit, for without me you can do nothing. I understood then that it was a matter of intentionality and faith. Yes, this was an opportunity that God had given to me, but I had to do it in faith, not to prove something or to do a good deed or to improve my standing, but out of love and dedication for Him. Although I received these words from God, the situation was still convoluted. I was waiting for the Air Force to approve of some waivers so I could continue with the process of enlisting and taking classes at a nearby college in the meantime. And praise the Lord, my college was entirely paid for because I had received a grant that could have covered all of it. But the issue was that if I was not a full-time student in consecutive semesters, I would lose the grant and have to pay for the rest of the degree. And this was a big deal for me, and choosing to lose this grant just seemed like I would be throwing away money. And at the same time, I thought about my parents. What would they think? Was this the right thing to do? I had been given this grant and I wasn't sure if my parents would approve of my decision. And then I was reminded of 1 Corinthians 3:19, where it says, since the wisdom of this world is foolishness with God. I talked to my parents and I shared my heart, and with their support, I said yes to Bible school. With resolve, I reached out and applied for Cromwell Christian School of Ministry. And during the process, I joined Zoom meetings, talked to different people, the school even got accredited. And eventually, I received a phone call. And soon after, with no delays, the dean told me I was accepted. Looking back, I know the timing was so inconvenient. I was undergoing the process of obtaining more medical waivers to further the process of enlisting, thriving in my community at church, doing well in school. And yet, God told me to pack up my tent and go where I'm sent by Him. So I said yes to God and put my trust in His promises. And I'm happy to say that I will be attending Cromwell Christian College this next school year in September.